that's the start of the journey. The Sahara journey, day 2. First thing we have to do is leave Europe behind, and that is the last of Europe. Rock of Gibraltar, Spain beyond it, and we're on the Straits of Gibraltar between Europe and Africa. Only a few more miles to the African coast, and just an amazing location, one of the great focal points of world history. Between this rock and the rock on the other side, which we'll try and get a picture of later. To the Romans and the Greeks, this was the end of the world. You know, this was the end of the known world. Beyond that, it was terra incognita. And for me too, what we're doing now, where I'm going to all these countries, places like Mauritania, Mali, they're just names. I know nothing about them at all. So for me, it's a journey into terra incognita as well. But there we are. There goes Gibraltar, the rock, the last of Britain, only 200 miles from the Sahara Desert. Amazing enough. Farewell. See you when I see you. Okay. And that, if you can hear me, is where we're going. That's Africa. That's the other side of the strait. Morocco and beyond the Atlas Mountains. Sahara, sand, sea, fog, sand, anyway. That's it. That's Africa. And across the Straits of Gibraltar. Two rocks known as the Pillars of Hercules. As I say, at the end of the known world 2,000 years ago. A real feeling of adventure at this point. And wind, and noise. Whoa! Noises you can hear in the background. This is everyday life from the family of Bashir, who is looking after us here in a Polisario refugee camp in southwestern Algeria, on the western edge of the Sahara Desert. Around here, around this camp, which has only been built within the last 25 years, is just desert. And we're not staying at some hotel. There aren't hotels. Bashir has allowed us to come and stay in his own house and welcomed us to the house. And that's Sidi. Most of the boys are called Sidi. That's Sidi 2, we call him. There's Sidi 1 somewhere else, and there's somewhere over there. Hi dear, yes, come along. And say hello. There we are. Let's say hello. Hello world.
Hello.
Yes. This is Hadi. And you are Dichi. Because they speak Spanish here as well as Arabic. And so you're Diecioto, which of all these Spanish speakers out there is 18. And I mean, it is extraordinary. If there are 7 of us travelling with all our bags and baggage. If we just turn up at someone's house for 2 or 3 days, a house really as small as this is the courtyard. There's a very small kitchen where all our food is prepared there. There's one small lavatory over there, which is really just a hole in the ground, and it's a squat toilet, so you just squat over it. Washing comes from water which is brought from 25 miles away. It ends up here in these sort of big sort of drums, and we pour water in there and we wash our hands from those, and that's the water they live on. And it's a very, very different world. It's Arabic, so there's no drinking, no alcohol. None of us have drunk alcohol for a bit. And when you eat, it's kind of nomadic world here. People only carry around things they can take with them, and this is still the way it is. They have a tent, they have carpets, they have cushions. You don't have chairs, you don't have tables, you don't have heavy tableware, you don't have anything that really you can't sort of carry around with you. So when you eat, you sit cross-legged, and you sort of lie rather languidly. I'll show you in a minute on the at the table in there, and people just naturally lie down here. That's just a different way of life. So, you know, and life begins really when the light comes up. There is some light here. There's a solar panel which brings in electricity, or rather creates electricity. It charges that battery, and there is no electricity brought into this camp, which is called Sahara, and contains 40,000 people. No electricity is brought into the site. It's all solar heating. and solar panels, so everything is quite dim. Everyone's very jolly and amazingly friendly and welcoming. I probably should be at school. And the buildings are made of what you see around you, basically sand and clay, sand and water. These are just stones. They make building bricks and they put a rendering on, which is and this presumably survives because it doesn't rain here very often. Actually, it hasn't rained here for 2.5 years. So this is our home for a while, and you're very, very kind. Oh, thank you. I see. I'm going to. Yes, you made this. This is a. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Thank you. There, these were friends. These I probably have to pay about 3,000 pesetas, but that's lovely. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Me llamo Michael. Hey, buenas noches. And here is the solar panel, source of all the light and energy at night. And across here is the battery which is being charged when they cook. Cooking is in here. This is the kitchen. To fight our way through. This is the kitchen. Right, go in this Selma. Selma, say hello to the camera. Hola, 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 Simando. Hello. And this is Kikita. Hola. Hola. Kikita. Krikita. Krikiba, you see, we're learning. Yes. Krikiba, and does all the cooking. After this one little room here, and there's a stove down there. There we are. Oh, no, she doesn't want to see that. Oh.
CD one?
CD. Yes. CD? No, CD one. He's carrying. Is this Bashir?
This is a brazier, yeah.
Yeah, that's charcoal.
Charcoal made from acacia wood.
From
acacia wood.
Acacia wood. Oh,
Yes.
the acacia is about the only trees that grow.
Yeah, this is the only tree which grows in this part of the desert.
And that's the charcoal from acacia wood, and this is gas.
Yeah, gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in general, for preparing tea, we prefer to use the acacia, the wood, the brazier of the acacia, rather than the gas.
Because it has a pleasant smell. It cooks better.
Yeah, and the fire is softer.
Yeah.
It is softer than the gas.
Yes. Yeah. It's soft and it's interesting. Yeah.
So as you have said yesterday, no, for a good tea, we need unsalty water and charcoal.
And that's easier said than unsalty water. Comes from about 50 kilometers away, a long way away.
Yeah.
And the best acacia wood. So the tea is so important. Thank you. CD going off there. Now, into the tent. Take my shoes off. We take our shoes off when we go to the tent. And
you can sit wherever you like, but in general for gas,
I'm going to show this is where we would eat. You see, and you sit like that, cross-legged, and just have bowls like that, and then everyone lies down. When you've had enough, you just have a little lie down.
Oh, that's the best. That's the Sahara way to relax.
That's the best.
Like that, yeah.
That's the way you relax in Sahara people.
Yeah.
I was saying because that's probably to do with being nomads, having to take things you can carry with you.
Yes.
So you don't have anything too heavy. You don't have great heavy chairs.
Just very, very light things.
Oh, lovely. That's the life. That's the life. It's not all as easy as this. And they're not all as friendly as Bashir.
Oh, thank you very much.
Good hospitality. And it's just unbelievable because here we are, this tent surrounded by friendly people. Listen, outside, miles and miles of desert, but as far as the eye can see. Anyway, that's it. Tea is about to be made. They're very hospitable for us here, and we all sleep, not actually together, but within these 2 rooms, rather comfortably. And I feel much better after a really awful day yesterday when something hit my system, some nasty, violent, evil thing went through my system, and I didn't feel very ill coming out of bed then as I was, so I feel much better tonight. But I wouldn't mind. I'm quite looking forward to crossing the border tomorrow to Mauritania, finding a hotel with water in the rooms, and somebody get a shave and just clean up and sort out all the gear, which is covered in sand over sort of 5 days on the road. But otherwise we're around Sahara, isn't it? Isn't it? Shut up. Okay. Good night. If I'm not careful, I'll show you the toilet facilities. Well, you asked for it. I promised, threatened I'd show you the toilet facilities here. It's called Michik. Anyway, it's a very southern part of Western Sahara. The desert town, tiny little desert town, really not much here at all. Anyway, this is the grand deluxe bathroom. Actually, this is really quite clean. With water, you just flush it down there. And around here, you'll find the washroom. Just as well, this doesn't smell of vision, actually. Here. It's the washroom. A little bit of bath water in there. Which I think is a bit, well, it's not sure bath water or washing up water. Anyway, it's slightly warm. I just hope I don't have to see these facilities quite as often as I did last night when we were staying in the other army barracks and all that. To rush out in the middle of the night, the wind blowing, toilet paper flapping. We don't need to know all that, but this is what happens when you travel. You just eat one wrong mouthful of canned stew or a fork that hasn't been absolutely cleaned, and then for 24 hours, your system's hell. But I say I'm fine today, and I'm drinking the tea. This is very special tea that the Sahrawis, the people who live in Western Sahara, live in it now, they have been exiled just at one side of the border. They made this lovely tea. They've been very good and very hospitable to us. So before I leave, I drink to the Western Sahara people, the Sahrawis. Peace. I'd just like to say a few words about Michael, because he's too modest to say that he's been extremely ill on this leg of the journey. For one whole day he was vomiting 1, 2, 3, 4 times. He got weaker and weaker, and by the end he could hardly stand up. There are very few hospitals around, but at the mention of the word hospital, he would have nothing whatsoever to do with it. So we think he's been a very brave boy. I think he's been a real trooper, and he'd probably hate me for telling the world how ill he's been and how he's coped with it in very wild and inhospitable places. Can't speak too highly of, what do we call it, professionalism, the do-or-die bulldog spirit.
I'm going to ask Mike if he wants to keep any of his small bags.
No, I think everything's out here.
Oh, fine. So
Stop piling.
Sort of travelling lights that we do. We need all these. Believe it or not, we need all these. I personally need my stock of 42 socks, 16 linen suits, a jacket and leathers. But this is really the end of a section which has taken us across our first real stretch of desert from down here to central southern Mauritania. Behind me the fort, French Foreign Legion. It really was a French Foreign Legion fort. It's an extraordinary wall decoration. It was a couple of served tennis balls, very fast and repeatedly into the walls.
Okay. Ready?
Trouble strikes in Bandiagara, Mali, 50 miles southeast of Mopti, on our way to Dogon country. It's a kind of bumpy, bouncy road, a couple of springs broken, so running these springs there, they've just gone into the town there, got a bit of rubber and straight from the springs, so what do? Well, we get food. Ah, my mango has arrived, thank you. Sound director, Mr. Davidson also produces the mango. Wait, oh, sorry, yeah, mango corner. Mr. Meeky, the camera, don't take it away again. All the groom's teeth. Vital moments like this. There we are. Mango moment. Really good. It's actually very nice. Mangoes and bananas, another thing I've noticed. Tastes different in Africa, that's a secret.
It's worth the detour to
Worth breaking down every now and then. Where did you get these?
Please stop.
Police stop. We had to stop on the way into Bandiagara, and they kind of red and white striped cans right across the road, and I think you have to pay some tax.
Poll tax.
It seemed to be a bit of a contentious issue.
Yes, no.
Who levies the tax?
It's the local bandits, basically. They just say, this bit of road is ours. You have to pay to go across it. It's a motorway stop, really.
I thought they had no uniform or badge of authority. Meanwhile, while you do that, someone creeps up the other side and sells you mangoes. I mean, they sell you everything all the time.
Well, that was the wife of the man taking the fine.
This is really good. So what's the problem? What do you think?
Well, I think...
How does it affect our progress?
Our progress, we've sort of lost half a day, probably. But we'll just sit here and eat mangoes until they've fixed it.
Not the first time we've had a little vehicle problem.
No. There's a problem, but you kind of part of the course.
Okay.
It's beginning of second week of March now here in Mali, centre of Africa. It's beginning to get very, very hot. You notice it. It's like 10 to 9 now, but the sun's beating down, and everybody who knows anything tries to find the shade. So find whatever you can, which happens to be the shade of this big tree. They're setting up their stalls now. There's never a shortage of a salesman in Africa, but I suppose that's what they live off, these things they've made, and the tourists that come by. I say there aren't that many. So today is going to be a day on the river, I hope. Sometimes I see people setting up the stall. I think I have to set up my own stall. People often ask, what I carry in this bag of mine that's with me all the time. Which is quite important, actually, because everything is vital. Firstly, the major thing being water. Water, absolutely vital. I think we're supposed to drink about 6 to 8 litres a day, and we probably do in the end. It just draws the moisture out of you here. And every hour, every half hour, you have to reinvigorate your system by having a bit of a slug. So there we are, there's the water. Down there, make my own little store. Notebook, there we are, little all-witch notebook. Wonderful, all-weather, hand-stitched scene. The only notebook that really survives a journey like this, but gets a lot of use. Keep notes of the day, and when we're bouncing along in a vehicle and I can't write, I use this little tape recorder here and say, hello, it's on the banks of the Bowney River in Mopti, day 436. Say hello, it's on the banks of the Bowney River in Mopti, day 436. Oh, it works. Il marche, as they say in this part of French Africa. So there's that, which I'll put down there. The notebook, there. What else? Glasses. I suppose my sort of reading eyesight started to go about just after I've done around the world in 80 days, and so now I do need these to read the small print. But because the sun is so bright in Africa, I actually read them far less than I do in murky London town. And then pair of shades when it gets very dark. Water exceedingly cool. So that's a cool look. So there's a couple of those, all absolutely necessary as you see. Now, what's in the side pockets? Sun lotion, sun very strong, probably up to 45 degrees this afternoon. A little thermometer which will tell me what the temperature is. Sweet, isn't it, really? Well, that'll be fine. It's now in the shade. It's about 32 in the shade at 8:30. Mozzie repel, word around me. Very essential for the riverside here, although this part of Africa is sort of too dry for the really nasty mosquitoes. You have to go further south, jungle area. So that was the medicament section. And here, tissues, nose for the blowing of, scraping sand out of your ears, cleaning your hands after you've eaten, hairbrush for quick bit of vanity. That is actually the entire makeup effort on this production. It's just to get the hairbrush, and that is rather useful. Little toothpick, very, very necessary, especially here where people have been eating sheep a lot the last few days, and before that, way before that, Western Sahara, I was eating camel, and this is very good to get rid of those bits of sheep and camel that lurk. And your gums so nearly finished now. There's a sort of antiseptic swab if you cut your fingers, get cut anywhere, which I often do. And that's about it. I think there's probably something for the throat. Yeah, just throat sweets. It gets very sandy here. So that's what I carry in the bag.
Right, yep.
Well, we're not working at the moment because of the extreme heat, isn't that right? And you'd normally whip us, flog us out there into the desert. It is now, the temperature is on your 129 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's in the shade, so it's probably going to be about 135, 140 in the sun.
Which is, can you do a conversion?
Okay,
to centigrade?
for those who are metric, we're going to go metric.
Metric only in Britain.
There is metric.
Pause and
there is metric.
FM.
Centigrade, and we're about...
Centigrade's coming up, it's working on it, it's flashing a lot, but nothing's happening yet. Talk amongst yourselves.
It's about as hot as it gets, I would say.
53 centigrade. And behind me is a hot lunch being
Yes, we like
bubbling on the flame.
We like a hot lunch in the heat. No, the main trick that I've learned is to keep the water in the sun and then put a tea bag in it. And
Yes.
It's a very cunning idea.
We don't waste our time. This is a patent tea making method discovered when we were going in one of the vehicles, and it got so hot during the day. The water starts cool, vaguely frozen, and it just gets hotter and hotter. So we had this brilliant idea, JP, of just putting a couple of peppermint tea bags in it, putting it on the dashboard, and the sun just burnt down through the window, and it got hotter and hotter. It was a boiling hot cup of tea.
Lovely cup of tea.
Yeah.
So what becomes a negative, you turn into a positive, which is
that's right. I must
really
work on this.
the nature of